I am, don't boo me, a registered Republican.
That's okay. Woo! We're so glad you're here!
My party seems to be turning a blind eye to Trump having been convicted of many crimes. You have a businessman that went bankrupt 6 times, depriving many people of money owed to them. With his flagrant misuse of tariffs, are we going to become his 7th bankruptcy?
Oh, probably.
This was no longer a party that supported the rule of law. Fiscal responsibility was lost when Trump was in office the first time, as our national debt skyrocketed even before COVID. I was at a loss trying to understand why my fellow Republicans would vote for somebody that did such a poor performance in office.
You know, this lifelong Republican voter has shown more courage and moral fortitude than the vast majority of our elected officials on both sides of the aisle when it comes to standing up to Trump and what he represents. And if there's anything to take away from her speech, it's that we on the left can break through the brainwashing and propaganda as long as the person in question has the humility and self-reflection necessary to change their worldview.
I asked my religious Republican friends, what the bejeebies are you thinking?
Yeah.
Why do they not know that he has not respected the 10 Commandments? He may be peddling the Bible, but he doesn't know the Bible. He doesn't read the Bible. Anything for money. That's his true God. And now we've got crappy crypto.
Donald Trump isn't some rogue exception in American politics. He's the blueprint. Our system has always rewarded politicians who put profit over people, who care more about their donor list than their district. He's just the loudest, most shameless version of it, from shady business deals to policy for profit schemes. Trump's entire rise is a case study in how the worship, money, manipulating power thing, well, you can get away with it. And the country doesn't just tolerate this kind of behavior. He's handed a microphone on a campaign plane.
I will never vote for Republican again. I am not a rhino. I did not leave the party. The party left me.
Yeah.
And I will resist being a part of a cult. I will never be a Trumpian.
It's a sad day when the person sounding the alarm about the MAGA movement is a woman who spent more than 50 years loyal to the Republican Party. That's how far we've fallen. When the people who once believed in conservatism say enough is enough, it should wake us all up. And still, what's worse is that her courage is the exception.
This was the flag Jennifer Piggott proudly hung outside her home during campaign 2024.
We had the flag. I had the shirt. I was a MAGA junkie.
A MAGA junkie who thought her government job would be safe with Donald Trump in office. She was wrong.
You voted for Donald Trump.
I did.
Do you regret that vote?
Yes, I do. To cut the knees out of the working class Americans just doesn't make sense to me. I expected more from President Donald Trump.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and they thought Trump would only hurt the people that they didn't like. Liberals, immigrants, the poor. Now they're the ones crying like toddlers with skint knees, shocked that the fire they cheered on is burning down their own neighborhood.
This woman asked us not to show her face for fear of retribution. She recently retired from the Bureau of Fiscal Service because she was afraid of losing her health insurance if she was fired. She also voted for Trump.
Would you still have supported him?
I'm not sure that I would have. The way that it's been done, I'm for balancing the budget, that type of thing, but not in this context. It's just not right.
MAGA didn't want reform. They wanted revenge. And now that they're getting exactly what they asked for, they cannot handle the pain. Yeah. From West Virginia to Virginia, from Minnesota to Florida, the sound you're hearing isn't just liberal outrage. It's Trump voters realizing that they lit the fuse that's now blowing up their own lives.
If you could say anything to President Trump now, what would you say?
I expected better from you. I really did. I expected that you would do what was right and cut waste and fraud and all of those things that you promised us before we elected you in office, but you're not doing that. You're creating a disaster, and I don't know what America's going to look like if this continues.
Federal workers have been fired, cancer research slashed, teachers abandoned, deportation raids targeting patients in dialysis clinics. The very people who once waved MAGA flags are now in disbelief, mouthing the words, "What have I done?" But this isn't a surprise. This was the plan. And the only people who didn't see it coming were the ones who refused to look. Until now. They didn't think that it would hurt them. They thought this administration would only go after the others. But Trump's purge knows no loyalty, no boundaries, and no bottom. Everyone not wearing a billionaire's name tag is absolutely fair game. Now that the wrecking ball is swinging through their own districts, Republican politicians are suddenly scrambling, not to stop the destruction, but to beg for exemptions.
So we're going to keep watching this dynamic. Republicans who can't actually bear what Trump is doing to their own states and to their own constituents, but they're too scared to say they're against it. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska asking for exemptions to Trump's cuts and actions, specifically for Indian tribes in Alaska. Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa asking for an exemption for Iowa farmers to the tariffs on Canada. Republican Florida Congresswoman Maria Elvira Salazar asking for an exemption to the indiscriminate deportation policies. Republican Senator Katie Britt asking for an exemption on the massive cuts to scientific and medical research, saying, you couldn't possibly mean Alabama for those cuts, could you? Not Alabama. You want these cuts elsewhere, right?
These Republicans helped build the Trump machine. They enabled the policies, they defended the man, but now that their own voters are in the blast zone, wait, not us, not my state, not my donors, not my re-election chances. This is moral cowardice at its peak. They want the cruelty without the consequences, the culture war without the casualties, the purge so long as it only hurts someone else. They cheered the fire until it started burning down their own neighborhoods. They voted for revenge, and now they're stunned that it didn't come with guardrails. MAGA was never about helping average Americans. It was about punishing the other. These Republicans thought that they were standing behind the flamethrower. Now they're realizing that they've been standing in front of it.
First 100 days, what was the best day out of all of them?
Oh, the first day. Woohoo! First day.
He said he was going to make America great again, lower prices.
He is. I don't care. Lower prices. Biden, he messed them up for 4 years. It can't take one day. People need to understand that. Prices are going to take a while. I might lose my job because I'm in a federal. I get it. I don't care.
Wait, you might lose your job in the federal job?
Yep.
Really?
Federal funding from a school district.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're okay with that, with the cuts?
I am. If it's for my grandchildren and children, I know it's not going to affect me, but it's going to affect their life, and that's what I care about.
So you work in a school that could lose federal funding, and if you lose your job because that federal funding is gone, you'd be okay with it?
Yes, I would, for the greater good, for America. He's making America great again. He's doing the right thing.
Now, she doesn't work for some messed up, nefarious branch of the federal government doing secret backroom deals. She's not running a for-profit prison. She's not cooking the books at ICE. She works in education. She's out here saying she's fine with losing her livelihood if it means making America better for future generations, while forgetting that her entire job is to help educate those future generations. Do you see the rub? Because they're not seeing it. She doesn't care if her job gets taken away, improving the future so the future gets improved. I don't know how else to phrase this.
Woohoo!
They're the perfect voting base for Donald Trump, however. Everything he says is gospel. And anything negative, no matter how true or obvious, is instantly dismissed as fake news. Watch this incredible string of logic that happens here with one of his supporters who doesn't want her kids, her family, to hear the details about what their president was found guilty of doing. And then she admits it, and then she excuses it.
What's an example of a lie the media says?
Oh, anything they say about Trump, it seems like, is a lie. On how he's out for getting rid of Medicaid. Getting rid of anything that they're talking about that he is trying to delete. I don't know. Saying that he's racist, which he's not. Saying that he's a rapist, that he's not.
He was found liable of sexual assault. Of sexual assault.
Big difference. And I
Explain the difference to me.
Rape is I can't. I have kids and grandkids.
Okay. Well, just say, is
I don't
being
think
found
that-
liable of sexual assault a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing, but I don't think that was true.
So, sexual assault, it's not quite as bad as it could be, but it's still a bad thing. Oh, I just admitted it's a bad thing that the president was found guilty in a civil court of doing, so I don't think he did it. They can't even grip on for a moment to the fact that he could have done bad things, which he's been doing for much of his life.